Hello everyone. Jungkook has just returned from Japan, but that's not what shocked fans the most. It wasn't his appearance at the airport either. What truly created a stir was the fact that he came back, quietly. No massive security escort, no fanbase welcome, and almost no fans realized he was even there. An OP original poster, who works at the airport, shared that they accidentally saw someone who felt familiar. And just from his eyes alone they immediately knew, it was BTS's Jungkook. The fact that an idol as big as Jungkook could go unnoticed in such a busy airport was genuinely astonishing. According to the OP, no one recognized him. But one girl tried to approach. Unfortunately, she was stopped right away by Jungkook's manager. Imagine that even in that moment Jungkook remained calm, as if he was already used to playing this game of cat and mouse. It turns out this trip to Japan was personal. Not for work, not a scheduled activity. But what made the public even more curious was the large camera he was carrying. 4 days in Japan and now he's back in Korea, without the luggage he brought. Was he working on a secret project? Or perhaps filming something that will one day surprise us all? A fan from Vietnam who works at the airport also confirmed the story. In her post she wrote that Jungkook returned to Korea yesterday carrying a large suitcase. But what made the story even more mysterious was the fact that Jungkook left with luggage and came back without it. Was there a hidden meaning behind that? Or is it part of a narrative still unfolding? Ironically, while this whole thing sounded like a mystery drama, fans took to social media with jokes. One viral comment said Jungkook never changed clothes during his time in Japan. Fans even compiled photos from his 4-day trip, showing almost the same outfit in every shot. The internet turned it into a running joke. Yet, beneath the laughter there was a tender emotion. Many fans felt touched that Jungkook chose to return in such a simple, humble way. No flashing cameras, no grand event. Just him, his manager, and a mysterious suitcase. This moment was considered so Jungkook, someone known for his grounded and humble nature. What's even more surprising, the OP said they recognized Jungkook just from his eyes. Even though he wore a mask in full disguise, his star aura couldn't be hidden. True fans can always recognize their bias, even with just a fleeting glance. A big question began to rise: what exactly was Jungkook doing in Japan for those 4 days? Why bring such a professional camera? Was he filming a personal vlog? Or maybe working on a secret global project? Of course, fans didn't want to miss a single clue. But perhaps the most interesting part of all this was how quickly fans began forming theories from the tiniest of details. His outfit, his movements, the direction he walked at the airport, all analyzed with incredible precision. Even the joke about not changing clothes became a trending topic on social media. The hype didn't stop there. When one fan shared their encounter with Jungkook at the airport, the comment section exploded. "You're so lucky." One user wrote, "Even just seeing his back I would cry." That moment became a hot topic, proving how powerful Jungkook's aura is, even when caught off guard. The mystery deepened when another fan claimed to see Jungkook entering the airport with a professional mirrorless camera. Fans started connecting the dots. Was this linked to a solo comeback? Or a personal documentary? The fact that he kept his trip a secret only added to the intrigue. What made fans even more emotional was realizing that there were no staff members or media crew accompanying Jungkook on his return. No photographers, no extra managers. Just him and a personal bodyguard. Everything was done in complete silence, as if to send a message that this wasn't for public consumption. But fans still knew. Naturally, ARMY moved fast. They began collecting old photos, trying to match Jungkook's outfits in Japan. Interestingly, they discovered that the white shirt and denim jacket he wore had appeared in older pictures. "Jungkook and his clothes, that's true love," a fan wrote on Twitter. In the midst of all the jokes, one moment gave everyone chills. A fan noted that Jungkook looked like he wanted to say something, but held it back. In a short 4-second video, his gaze was so deep, so full of emotion. "I feel like he's hiding something," read one comment. So what is Jungkook hiding? That's the big question hanging in the air. Fans speculated, maybe it's new music, a solo project, or perhaps something more personal. The silence and mystery only made it more touching. Because when an idol chooses to keep something for himself, fans can feel it. Not long after the story went viral, the hashtag welcome back Jungkook shot to the top of global trends. ARMY from all over the world flooded timelines with messages of love. Some shared how proud they were, others were sad they missed seeing him. But everyone agreed, Jungkook deserves peace. Some fans even described his return as a scene from a movie. A young man returns from a secret journey carrying a camera and untold stories. The imagery was so powerful that fans began creating fan art, video edits, and theories that felt like K-drama plots. Because Jungkook truly is the main character of real life. Now many fans hope that this moment will one day appear in an official YouTube video or Jungkook's personal documentary. They believe that behind this silence, he's preparing something special. Maybe a visual diary? Or an emotional film about his personal journey. One thing's for sure, ARMY won't miss it. To this day, there's been no official statement from the agency. But ARMY continues to wait patiently. Because to them, every step Jungkook takes has meaning. Every silence carries a message. And every surprise from him always arrives without warning, like this airport story which began in quiet, then became a global conversation. One detail that made fans even more convinced this trip was special, the expression on Jungkook's face as he left the airport. Not his usual smile nor a tired look, but a kind of peace that's hard to explain. As if he had just completed a deeply meaningful secret mission. Not for the public, but for himself. Days after his return, there was no media coverage, no official post, no statement from HYBE. Yet it was the silence that spoke the loudest. Fans began to realize that maybe, this time, Jungkook truly wanted to have something for himself. A space untouched by cameras, unchased by spotlights. Some said this is the highest form of freedom an artist can possess. The right to remain silent, the right to keep a story hidden. But then again, who can hide the sun from ARMY? From a fleeting glance at the airport, a slight smile on the corner of his lips, the gentle sway of his slow but certain steps, fans began to read an unwritten tale. Jungkook may not have brought home a suitcase, but he carried back a journey of the soul. One fan wrote in a long thread, "I think he's filming something, but not for us. Not for commercial use, not for a project. But for himself. To remember something. Or maybe to forget." The thread was shared thousands of times, as if it echoed the collective feeling of countless hearts wondering, was Jungkook in Japan to find inspiration or perhaps, to heal a wound? And that large camera? Maybe it wasn't just a tool for documentation. But rather a catcher of silence, something he carried to immortalize moments he couldn't describe with words. Meanwhile, some sharp-eyed fans discovered that the camera Jungkook brought was a professional type, one used for cinematic filming. Expensive lens. Industrial-grade body. Not just for casual vlogging. This made the theory of a personal project even more plausible. Rumors began to swirl that Jungkook might be working on a visual documentary about his life, not as a K-pop star, but as a regular human being. As John Jungkook. Others noticed how Jungkook held the camera, gently as if he were carrying something fragile. And when he glanced up at the night sky before stepping into the airport car, some fans swore they saw his eyes shimmer. Not with sadness but with relief. As if he finally had space to be just himself. For days that were more than just a vacation, wrote one fan editor. For days to piece himself back together. Soon after, ARMY began writing poetry and creating fan art of Jungkook, the seeker of silence. A lone figure walking through Tokyo, wandering through subway corridors, capturing his own reflection in windows. Maybe he photographed old walls, street lamps, or strangers, metaphors for his quest for identity. Every click of his camera is a silent prayer, wrote a fan from Korea. And perhaps, no description could be more fitting. Then came a wild but deeply romantic fan theory. What if the suitcase wasn't lost but intentionally left behind? Not as a loss but as a symbol of letting go. The theory spread, maybe Jungkook left that suitcase for someone. Or maybe for his past self. The one weighed down by expectations, worn out without realizing it, now choosing to leave it behind in a faraway land. That theory found accidental support from an old clip of Jungkook in Break the Silence where he said, "Sometimes I want to go away on my own without anyone knowing. Not because I don't like you. But because I want to find out who I am when no one is watching." Words that once felt poetic now felt like prophecy. 4 days unknown to the public. One suitcase that never returned. A large camera. Eyes that glowed in the dark. Whatever Jungkook did in Japan, one thing is certain, it mattered to him. And for ARMY, if it matters to Jungkook, then they'll protect it, without needing to ask too much. Now, when Jungkook's name is mentioned, it no longer brings only thoughts of stages, music, and spotlights, but also of a quiet airport hallway, a mysterious suitcase, and a journey unwritten in any corporate schedule. The journey of a young man trying to find his place again in the world. Or perhaps trying to build it himself, from camera frames, memories, and the courage to remain silent. And even now, ARMY continues to wait. Not with demands, but with prayers. Because they know, even if Jungkook chooses never to share a single second of those 4 days, they will still love him completely. In a world that never stops talking, they've chosen to listen to the silence Jungkook brought home. And in that silence there is a whisper. I'm home. But this time in a way only I can understand. And beneath all the theories spreading online, there's one thread tying all fans together. Their deep love for Jungkook. They're not angry he kept things private. They're grateful that he finally had time for himself. In a world that's always watching, moments like this are treasures, rare and precious.